Disclaimer: this is a work of fiction created for entertainment purpose only, not affiliated with BTS or Big Entertainment. Characters and storylines are fictional and for entertainment purpose only. If you are homophobic, then please just leave. Tigers Bunny promote respect and kindness. Jungkook and Taehyung are married from 1 year. That was totally arranged marriage, but slowly with time both fall in love with each other. But these days Jungkook was busy in his new project, so he can't be able to give time to Taehyung. And Taehyung started to feel insecure. He thinks if Jungkook fall out of love with him, let's see what is happening now. Taehyung POV. I stood alone at the corner nursing my drink as I watched my husband Jungkook chat with his female business partner Rachel. She was always around him, laughing and touching his arm, and it made me uncomfortable. I didn't like how she seemed to cling to him, always finding excuses to be close. Jungkook didn't seem to notice, or maybe he just didn't mind. But I noticed. I noticed everything. End of POV. As Theung stood there lost in thought, he noticed a familiar figure approaching him. It was Min-Soo, one of Jungkook's business rivals. He had a smirk on his face, and his eyes seemed to gleam with amusement. Theung could tell he was up to something, and he didn't like it one bit. Min-Soo, well, he said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Look what we have here, the neglected husband. His words were laced with malice, and Theon could feel his guard going up. What did he want? Theon rolling his eyes. What you mean? Min-Soo's words were like a spark to dry tinder, a fire of doubt and insecurity within him. You think Jungkook loves you, Theon? He sneered, his voice low and mocking. He's too busy with his business and his precious Rachel to even notice you here. You are just a trophy to him, a pretty face to show off to his friends. Theon, his words cut deep, and Theon felt a pang of hurt and anger. Was it true? Did Jungkook really not care about him like he thought he did? He pushed the thought aside, not wanting to believe them, but Min-Soo's word had planted a seed of doubt in his mind. Taehyung Min-Soo offered me a drink, and I hesitated for a moment before declining, but he assured me it was just juice, and I didn't see any harm in accepting. I took this glass from him and drank, feeling the cold liquid slide down my throat. I didn't notice Min-Soo's sly smile as he added a generous splash of beer into his drink. As the alcohol took hold, Theon's inhibitions began to fade and Min-Soo's world got deeper. He watched Jungkook and Rachel laughing together, feeling a growing sense of resentment. Why was he spending so much time with her? Didn't he care that I was standing there feeling hurt and alone? Min-Soo's voice was like a constant whisper in his ear, fueling his anger and jealousy. He is just using you, Theon, he said. You're just a pawn in his game. He doesn't really care about you. Theon felt his emotions spiraling out of anger, and before he knew it, he was storming over to Jungkook, ready to confront him. As Theon stumbled toward them, his vision blurry from the alcohol, his heart racing with anger and hurt. From his angle, it looked like Jungkook and Rachel were sharing a romantic kiss. Theon felt a surge of rage and betrayal, and before he knew it, he was storming over to them. Theon grabbed Jungkook's shoulder and spun him around, his palm connecting with his cheek in a loud slap. Yes, Theon slapped Jungkook. The sound echoed through the room, and everyone's eyes turned to them. Jungkook's eyes widened in shock, and in Rachel's face turned pale. Theon drunk voice. How could you? He slurred, his voice shaking with emotion. You are mine, Jungkook, mine. The room fell silent, and Theon realized what he had done, but his anger and hurt wouldn't let him back down. Jungkook's eyes were wide, with shock and hurt as he tried to explain the situation to him. Taehyung, love, it's not what you think, he said, his voice calm and gentle. But Taehyung wasn't listening. He was too far gone, consumed by his own anger and jealousy. He started to say hurtful things to Jungkook, words that he would later regret. "You are just a cheat." He slurred, his voice rising. "You don't care about me at all. You are just using me." Jungkook's face fell and he looked like he had been punched in a gut. Rachel tried to intervene, but Taehyung was beyond reason. He kept pouring out his hurt and anger, not caring who he was hurting. Jungkook's eyes began to well up with tears and he felt a pang of guilt, but Taehyung's anger wouldn't let him stop. Jungkook, eyes filled with tears, and his face reflected his deep sadness. He looked at Taehyung with a mix of hurt and disappointment, his voice barely above a whisper. "Do you really think so little of me, Taehyung?" he asked, his voice trembling. "Do you think I am capable of hurting you like that?" His word cut through Taehyung's anger and for a moment. Taehyung saw the pain he had caused him. Jungkook's sadness and vulnerability made Taehyung realize the gravity of his action. Taehyung, cracked voice. Hubby tried to hold Jungkook's hand. Jungkook jerked his hand away. Jungkook's voice was laced with anger and hurt as he announced, "The party is over, everyone, please leave." The room fell silent and the guests slowly began to file out, casting awkward glances at them. The music stopped and the lights seemed to grow brighter, illuminating the tension between Jungkook and Taehyung. As the last guest left, the door closed behind them and they were alone. The silence between them was oppressive, heavy with unspoken words and unresolved emotions. Jungkook's eyes still shone with tears and his face was set in that determined expression. Taehyung could feel the weight of his actions bearing down on him, and Taehyung didn't know how to begin making things right. Jungkook's voice was calm and gentle as he explained. "Taehyung, that wasn't a kiss," he said, his voice locked on Taehyung's. "Rachel tripped and I catch her to stop her from falling. That's all it was." He took a step closer to Taehyung, his hands reaching out to take his. "I only love you, Taehyung. You are the only one for me." But then his expression turned introspective and he added, "Maybe there is a fault in my love, something that's making you doubt me. Is it something I have done? Something I have said?" His word cut deep and Taehyung felt a pang of regret for not trusting him. Taehyung crying, "No, hubby, there is no fault in your love. I'm sorry." Jungkook, eyes filled with tears as he said, "You hurt me so much, Taehyung. Your words cut deeper than any knife could." His voice cracked with emotion and Taehyung felt a wave of guilt wash over him. He had never seen Jungkook so vulnerable, so hurt. Jungkook turned and walked away, leaving him standing alone in the empty hall. The sound of his footsteps echoed through the silence, and then Jungkook disappeared into their room, shutting the room door behind him. Hyung was left alone, surrounded by the remnants of a party, feeling the weight of his actions bearing down on him. Hyung, tears streaming down his face as he whispered, "I'm so sorry, Jungkook. I don't know what happened to me. I was so jealous. I hurt you. How could I slap you, my love?" Hyung sobbed, feeling the weight of his action crushing him. He had never felt such a deep regret and sorrow. He slowly opened the door and stepped inside their room, his eyes scanning the room for Jungkook. He was sitting on the bed, his back to Taehyung, his shoulders still tense with emotion. Taehyung took a step closer, his voice barely above a whisper. "Hubby, please forgive me. I love you. I was blinded by my own insecurities." His words trailed off as Taehyung reached out to touch his shoulder, hoping he would turn to him, hug him tightly. Jungkook jerked his hand away coldly, his voice devoid of Emotion turned the lights off. Taehyung, I'm sleepy, lay down. His word cut through Taehyung like a knife, and he felt the pang of ordinary rejection. He had expected anger, but not this cold, distant tone. He felt like he was being pushed away, and it hurt even more. He hesitated for a moment, unsure of what to do, but Jungkook's expression didn't soften, and he didn't look at him. He slowly turned off the lights, plugging the room into darkness. The only sound was Taehyung's own raged breathing and the soft rustling of Jungkook's movement as he settled into bed. Taehyung lay down beside him, and feeling a chasm between them that seemed impossible to bridge. The darkness seemed to amplify the tension, and Taehyung couldn't shake the feeling that he had lost something precious. To be continued.